Today, I'm going to show you the best Google Ads structure to scale e-commerce brands in 2026. This was the exact same structure we used to scale this brand from 0 to 25K on Google Ads in under 3 weeks. This was a completely fresh brand with no branded traffic and no meta presence, and we scaled them from 0 to 25K at a 4.7x return, well above their break-even ROAS, with one very simple structure. I'm going to walk you through the entire structure today. Every single campaign we're using live in this account, you can see all the campaigns here. I'll show you exactly what they do, how they work, and how they help us scale. Now, this account is running an e-commerce brand. Like I said, they're selling pretty much a single hero product, but they have a few other kind of variations of it. It's that kind of medium ticket AOV, nothing too crazy, sitting between the $50, $100 price range. And it's a very common e-commerce product. It's basically the stock standard setup. And this is the exact setup that I would use for almost any e-commerce brand that we start with. I'm giving you all of the secret sauce right now. I'm not hiding anything. So let's get right into it. Now, as you can see, obviously these are great results considering how quickly we scale this up profitably and we maintain this profitable ROAS while continuously scaling spend, still scaling. I think this last screenshot here was about $500 a day. And you can see this was literally taken a couple of days ago. So this is very, very recent. Now, if we go and have a look at the actual campaign structure, there are 4 main categories of campaigns, right? So there's non-branded shopping campaigns. There are main scaling engines, those ones. There are additional demand cleanup campaigns. There are brand security campaigns, and there are remarketing machines. So we're going to start with the scaling engines. This is the backbone, the lifeblood of any e-commerce brand. The vast majority of your results on Google Ads will come from shopping ads. For most, 90% of e-commerce brands, shopping ads are the best ads you can run to get results because they have a very visual display. They clearly show your product, they clearly show your price, they show everything about it rather than a search ad, which only has very limited kind of information and placements. So you can see that these are the campaigns that are running at the highest budget right now. $200 a day on this one, for example, and continuously scaling. Google's even flagging it as limited by budget. So that means that we can probably scale it even further. Now, how do we run these campaigns effectively? You can see they're shopping, they're non-brand, and they're separated by region here. Now, Australia is the main region for this brand. It's where they started in. So that's why we're going hardest in Australia and spending the most there because it's getting the best return for us. Now, when it says non-brand, that means we've excluded all branded traffic. So anything related to the brand name is completely cut out of this campaign because we want to force this campaign to focus on new customers and driving new people through to the website. So you just do that by going into the negative keywords of the shopping campaign and excluding all of the branded terms. So anything to do with your brand name. So basically exact match keywords, negative keywords for your brand name. Now we have 2 shopping campaigns, as you can see, one in AU, like I said, and then we have another one for our additional regions we're running in, US, UK, and Canada. Now this one's at lower spend because these regions aren't quite as profitable for us just yet. They are scaling up as Google is gathering more data in the regions. However, it's not the main focus yet, and it's still lagging behind the AU because Australia just gets better performance given that this is where they have started. Now, in saying that, you just want to make sure that if you are running shopping campaigns, try to segment them as best you can. In this case, we're lucky that this shop, this store only really has one main product. So we don't have to separate by products. We just have to separate by regions because there's a big disparity in regional performance. So AU performs way better than the others. So we like to keep them separate so we can watch the performance of these additional regions and we can watch performance of AU. Once this campaign gets to a certain level of scale, we'll even break out these individual countries into their own campaigns so we can look at the performance in an even more granular analysis. But in saying that, if you have a large product catalog, if you have more than one product, what you want to do is not only separate by high performing regions. So again, I recommend just starting in your best region. So at the very beginning of this account, we just had an Australia campaign. We didn't have anything else for any of these other countries. And if you were doing that, in the case of a store that has a bigger catalog, more SKUs, more products, you'd want to have a shopping campaign just with your best products in it. So just put your top 3 to 5, maybe 10, but usually 3 to 5 best products in that shopping campaign, target your highest performing region and exclude branded traffic via negative keywords. That's it. That's all you have to do in the campaign. Make sure it's running in the right region with the right products and no branded traffic. And that is going to be how you acquire new customers. This is targeting people searching for the product itself, not your brand. Now, beyond that, we have our additional branded campaigns. This is where we capture all of the brand security. So you can see we have branded shopping and then we also have branded search. Now, branded search is separated out by regions. So once again, we get more traffic right now through branded search because branded shopping is a newer campaign type. We've only just introduced a branded shopping campaign. It requires a little bit more complexity. You need to install a script into your Google Ads in order to do a branded shopping campaign. But honestly, it's not super critical. You don't need it from day one. It will definitely help when you get it. And I do believe I have another video on my channel of exactly how to set up branded shopping campaigns. So feel free to go back and watch that one for the specifics on how to use a branded shopping campaign and the scripts you need to do it. But the point of these campaigns is, once again, is to gather all the branded traffic. So anyone searching for the brand name, this obviously indicates a very different level of intent to someone just searching for the product. So imagine these guys sell, for example, kitchenware, right? So they're someone searching, for example, a chef's knife. If someone searches for chef's knife rather than brand name, there's a very different level of intent. The people searching for a chef's knife, just looking for a product, they're gonna have a lower conversion rate because they're gonna be comparing you with all your competitors. But when someone's searching for the brand name, they know they want to buy from you. They know they want to go to your website. So you need to put an ad in front of them. And that's why it's important. When they're searching for you, if you're not there, but your competitors are, your competitors will probably steal your sale. That's why it's so important to run these branded campaigns, because they protect your brand from competitors. When someone searches for your brand name, they come through to your website. So how do you run these branded campaigns? Well, the search campaigns are very easy. All you do is you set up a search campaign. Your keywords are going to be exact match, just your brand name, nothing else. Your brand name and any spelling variations. You should only have 3 to 5 keywords, all exact match, all directly related to your brand. What is someone searching for when they're looking for your brand? And that's it. Again, we've separated this by region because AU performs better, so we give more budget to Australia. But you'll also notice the budgets are really low on these branded campaigns because you don't want to be spending much. Like, branded should not take up a big portion of your account spend. You can see right here, branded takes up $50, $60 of the 600, right? So that's 10% of our budget goes towards brand. And that's generally a good rule of thumb. You want to sit between that 10 to 15% of your total spend to go towards brand because it protects you. And not only does it protect you, it also gathers really high quality data. So as I mentioned, the customers coming through these branded campaigns, they're your highest intent customers. They're the people who know you, they trust you, they want to buy from you. So when you register a conversion in Google and send that back to Google and tell them, hey, this is what our best customers look like from a branded campaign, it makes it way easier for you to find new customers that look like them. So the two main purposes of a branded campaign are: 1, protect your brand from competitors, and 2, gather high quality data to show to Google so Google can then feed that into its algorithm and use it to find new high quality customers for you. Now, those are honestly the backbone of the account. These are the strongest campaigns and the ones that you need the most. These are the first campaigns you should set up. Literally the first two is a non-brand shopping campaign and a branded search campaign. The first two you need. Then branded shopping is also good to have. However, we have a few more campaigns, as you can see in here. Now, we have the PMAX campaigns, which is what I want to touch on first. These are the remarketing machines. These are the campaigns that follow your customer around the internet. Now, the problem with PMAX is a lot of people rely on it as their only campaign in the account. They'll just use PMAX campaigns and they'll hope that Google goes out and finds the right people. The problem with PMAX is if you don't restrict it very heavily, it will lean into all of your branded traffic and all the easiest traffic. And that's the biggest problem with it. That's why we like to use shopping as the main driver of new customer acquisition and PMAX as a remarketing tool. Once again, in these PMAX campaigns, you want to exclude branded traffic. So when you exclude branded traffic, once again, go into negative keywords, put in your brand name in exact match form. It excludes anyone from being targeted in this PMAX campaign who's searching for your brand. It's very important, once again, because we need to separate brand and non-brand. All of our branded traffic needs to go into your branded campaigns, and then your non-brand traffic can remain in PMAX, shopping, and search. Now, the beauty of PMAX, like I said, it can display across a lot of channels and follow your customer around the internet. So we hope to get the first touch point through shopping. We aim to get the first touch point through a shopping campaign that's trying to target new customers. And then once they've clicked, maybe they clicked through your website, they didn't purchase. What PMAX can then do is it can follow them around. It can show them display ads. It can show them ads on the YouTube platform, on the Gmail platform. It can show them all over the internet to try and pull them back in. And you can see we still have pretty high budgets on these PMAX campaigns. Not quite as high as shopping, but still pretty high because a lot of money should really go into your remarketing if it is profitable. And these PMAX campaigns are working really well right now. You can see I've also called them Mother's Day campaigns because what we're doing is coming up to Mother's Day now. It's towards the end of April. This product is a good Mother's Day gift. So it's something we want to really lean into. And a bit of a high level strategy we've done in here is we've created an alternate product, a duplicate product that leans more heavily into the Mother's Day angle. So what that does is it gives PMax the ability to really try and find anyone who's looking for a Mother's Day gift, retarget them, but also show in new customer searches for people searching for Mother's Day gifts as well, right? And shopping may capture some of that, but this PMax allows us to do it much better because PMax just does have better targeting capabilities. PMax is a bit of a double-edged sword, right? It has a really good targeting algorithm, but if you leave it unrestrained, it will run wild and just completely ruin your performance. You need to make sure it has a very clear objective, and that objective should be acquiring new customers either through a remarketing capacity or through additional non-branded terms which are outside of the regular scope of your shopping campaigns. So you have shopping as a primary drivers, you have PMax as a remarketing drivers, you have brand to protect your branded traffic, and then the final one that really ties it all together is your search campaigns. So these search campaigns, they're additional demand cleanup, right? And then non-branded search, very important note there. Again, these are search campaigns with no branded traffic excluded. What do they target? They target non-branded terms relevant to the product. If we're using the example of kitchen knives again, it could be, these could be just targeting terms very similar to shopping, right? It would be like chef's knife, best chef knives, aluminum knives, titanium knives, whatever, right? I don't know what materials they use to make knives. But you want to target the highest intent, absolute highest intent search terms in phrase or exact match. Don't recommend going broad unless you have a lot of conversion data in the account and a lot of sort of results in the account already, a lot of revenue coming through. Otherwise, Google will struggle to target correctly. So put in these search campaigns, any phrase or exact. And what that allows you to do then is when people are searching for the product that you're selling, they will ideally first get shopping listings, but they can also then get search listings showing below the shopping listings that then give them another option to click through on search. Because some people just don't click shopping listings. I know it sounds strange. I personally actually don't click shopping listings that often, just because I know they're ads. I usually scroll down and search, although I do sometimes click them, I will say that. But that's just a case of the audience and the market, is that some people just prefer to go through a search ad because they may not even realize it's an ad if it's a search ad. So you need searches to clean up additional demand. Thing is, you won't get the same return or the same scale on these search campaigns because they're not as visual as shopping. Shopping is still the gold standard, like I said, but search just cleans up anyone who doesn't come through shopping. And you can see for that reason, our budgets on search are a little bit lower, much lower than the shopping campaigns, and they're just there to clean up any additional demand coming through. And that is the full structure. Now, there are a few more things that you would introduce at the next level of scale. You can see we're still at fairly conservative scale right now. We're only spending $500 a day, but to be honest, this is probably the point where we should consider bringing in YouTube, and we are working on it now. But YouTube and demand gen are the next step. So the only other campaign type you need outside of all these campaigns, this is all you need. Like, you could run these campaigns alone and get to 50K plus per month, 100K plus per month if you have a good product. But once you bring in demand gen, that's YouTube videos, right? YouTube campaigns, display campaigns that try and generate additional demand. It's very similar to Meta. And these campaigns just expand your funnel. So you'll find at a certain point with these campaign types, the fundamentals, the backbone, once you get to a certain point of scale, you won't be able to scale further without losing returns, losing ROAS. And that's a point where you want to bring in demand gen. Now, demand gen typically runs at a lower average return because it is targeting the top of the funnel. It's targeting new people. It always aims to target people who have not interacted with your brand yet. If you set it up correctly, you can also use it for remarketing, but we tend to use demand gen for top of funnel primarily. And what it allows you to do is expand the funnel, bring more people into your shopping campaigns, more into your brand, more into your non-brand, more into your PMax, and it just brings more traffic through the entire account because it's showing ads to people who've never even thought about you before, right? Again, if you're selling chef's knives, it may just be a YouTube Shorts ad or a YouTube in-stream video ad or a horizontal format YouTube ad, right? And it will show them an ad when they may not have even thought about chef's knives, but they want to purchase one because they fit your demographic, they fit your ideal customer profile, and they fit that data that Google has on what your ideal customers look like. Another note for demand gen is you only really want to introduce it once you're at, I'd say, generally above $500 a day spend, and also when you have significant conversion data in the account. Honestly, we are probably bordering on the amount of conversion data required now. You want to get at least a few, ideally a few hundred conversions before you start running this. I mean, I think Google's recommendation is something like 50 to 100 conversions a week to run effectively on demand gen. So you definitely need a lot more to run profitably on demand gen. But when you do, it just unlocks a whole new level of scale. And that's how you get the account to $1,000 a day plus, $2,000 a day plus, right? You get way, way further because you're bringing in new people into the brand. And that's it. That's literally the whole structure. I've just walked you through every single thing that we set up in an account to run on Google effectively. And remember, this is the important part. Shopping non-brand is your scaling engine. Shopping non-brand is going to help you scale the most and find the most new customers. Brand protects your brand and feeds high quality data through to Google. That's branded shopping and branded search. PMax remarkets to those people and finds new angles and new customers and new search terms you may not have considered. And then finally, the search campaigns are for additional demand cleanup. This is an e-commerce brand, remember. If you're running a service-based business, search is going to be your primary scaling engine. But that's it. Once again, that is exactly how we generated $26,000 in revenue over about 3 weeks for this brand with only $5,000 spend at a 4.7x return. If you want to get results like this on Google and you're a bit overwhelmed by all this and you don't really know how to set it up and you want some help doing it and you have a really good product that you want to run, then please feel free to book a call with me down below. I'll be more than happy to chat with you about it. Try and figure out how we can help you make more money on Google Ads in 2026 and beyond.